This is the Aaron Rand Show on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Take me in, oh, take me little woman. Take me in, I hear that say, take me in, take me little woman. The snake. Yes, the snake, Lady the Snake, who's still missing somewhere, we think, in Verdun, assuming she hasn't died from the cold nights we've had. We've had a couple of them. I don't know. Let's find out what the story is here. It's a story we seem to have forgotten since it broke. We kind of covered it for a couple of days and then just let it go until we realized, hey, no one said they caught this thing. What's going on? Bill Dowd is founder, president, and CEO of Skedaddle Humane Wildlife Control, which is a great name, by the way, for a company, Bill. Skedaddle. I love that. That's great. Are you, in fact, a snake specialist?
Well, we deal with all kinds of animals or amphibians or snakes, you name it. So we could say we're specialists. We've had all kinds of calls for snakes and over the 27 years in history. So it is a common occurrence.
Right. So what's the deal with Lady the Snake, who we assume will be caught in a day or two, and here we are a couple of weeks later and nothing's going on? What's the status? What's happening?
Well, obviously, it's very evasive. It's still on the loose. It's just a matter of time, I would suspect, before somebody sees it again, or as the nights get cooler, that the snake is going to start trying to gain access into a warmer environment, whether that be inside a home or into somebody's car engine as it pulls into a driveway, cools down, that type of thing. So I would suspect it's going to surface again.
What do you do? I mean, are you involved in trying to capture this snake?
We haven't been called in. We're a private company, so we charge for our services, right. And we haven't. No homeowner has phoned us to say there's a python in my shed or in my garage or cabana or in their attic. So we're just kind of waiting for the call, and we'll definitely look at responding.
Do you know what's going on? I thought at the outset, Verdun security, they had some people out there with things to round. I don't know what he used to round up the snake. What are those things called?
Well, I mean, if it's underneath a structure and you can't gain access to it, it's going to be pretty difficult. Someone actually needs to find it, and then it's an aspect of finding out how we gain access to it and then catching it that way. It's going to be very difficult to put a trap out and hope the snake is going to just go into a trap. Just like if you're having a raccoon in your chimney, you can't put a trap in your backyard, just think the animal's going to go into it. You need to actually find it and remove it. And, if it's underneath a deck or a cabana, then animal-proof or snake-proof that structure so it can no longer live in that area.
Okay, but what do you do if you're waiting for someone to see this thing and then be called to finally, get it, what's involved? I mean, do we have to, they told us at the outset not to worry. First of all, 4-foot snake's a pretty big snake, but it's a python, and they said it's not going to crush anybody to death, and it has no poisonous venom. So what's the concern here?
Well, obviously it's an exotic animal, not native to Canada. I guess the concern would be that, it's a species that's out there on the loose. There has been some documented cases of pythons. I think the last was in New Brunswick where it got into a home and did asphyxiate some young children. So, with it being on the outside, it's more that, a small cat, any mice or rodents that are on the loose, the snake might be living off those. So it probably is going to be pretty safe for the general public.
Do you have any snake wranglers as part of your outfit, or?
Well, we're up for always every challenge.
You have a snake whisperer or something like that?
We have a couple. We've caught snakes before. We've caught Japanese snow monkeys, any exotic animals. Like, these are the challenges that are above the norm, which is normally raccoons, squirrels, skunks, birds, bats. Something like this, a python, we'd be ecstatic to get out there and capture this animal and help out the people of Verdun.
All right. First of all, how likely is it this thing has traveled? If it's been a couple of weeks and they thought originally it was under somebody's house, and if they haven't found it and they thought it was cornered in this area, is it likely to have traveled quite far, or are they not big on traveling?
I would suspect it's probably in the same area. The fact that, if it eats, one rat or a couple of mice, that is probably going to be pretty well fed for a few weeks or even a month. So, its diet, it could still be in that exact same area. It's a matter of it resurfacing again or somebody tracking this animal down.
Now, I understand Robin tells me you have an interesting story about a snake you actually once caught. What's that story?
Well, it was a 10-story apartment building in Montreal. It was the same thing, a python that got loose. It was in somebody's aquarium. It got out. It went down 10 floors into the laundry area in the basement because it was cold. went to the dryers, which are going around the heat source. A young woman went in to do her laundry, and here was a 6-foot python slithering across the floor. So obviously, with a case like that, we responded, we caught the animal, and gave it back.
Did she call you, or could you hear the scream from when she first saw the snake?
Well, I think everyone in the entire apartment complex heard the scream. So obviously, it's something you're not expecting to see when you're going down to the basement to do some laundry.
Speak for yourself. I'm thinking, how much better would it have been if the snake had somehow been in the washing machine or in the dryer when she opened the lid and this thing was inside, but that's just me. Is the basic advice if you see one of these things, just back off, don't try to be nice, don't try to capture it or anything else like that, and leave it to the pros? Is that the basic advice?
Right, exactly. Okay. With any wild animal you see out there, whether it's a snake, a snow monkey, raccoon.
Where are you going to see a snow monkey?
Well, those animals run loose in Niagara. They got loose from somebody's private zoo and, are running around for a couple of years before the government called us in to capture them. So
a couple of years?
Right, a couple of years. And what happened was one small male was showing his dominance. So he was kind of attacking people. They carried hepatitis, HIV.
Wow.
A bunch of nasty diseases.
That's not like the one that they had at the IKEA store in Ontario that had his own coat. Remember that story?
These ones didn't have any coats.
No coats.
They were running around in the Niagara and the fruit belt, enjoying the fruit and the Canadian winters because they're from Japan and they're used to that type of scenario.
You see a snow monkey here, you've been drinking way too much. All right, so if you come across a snake or any other wild animal, you can call Skedaddle. Where are you guys based in Montreal?
We're on the West Island.
Okay.
And also downtown.
Skedaddle Humane Wildlife Control. Bill Dowd. Bill, thanks so much.
Okay.
Take care. There you go.